So I just got off the phone with Amy, and she says, she's like, don't tell that story about when you had to come save me on the show. And I was like, I'm saying it now, right? Of course. So when we lived together on River Road, this is, 7 years ago, something like that. She calls me. I'm at work at the Jug, and she calls me, and she's like, there's someone in the house. And I'm like, what? She's like, there's someone in the house. And I'm like, what do you mean there's someone in the house? She's like, I'm in bed upstairs, and I can hear someone downstairs in the house, and they're talking. And I'm like, there's no one in the fucking house. I'm like, go see who it is. She's like, no, are you crazy? So I'm like, what do you want me to do? She's like, Christopher, I'm fucking scared. She's like, you have to get here.
When she calls you Christopher, shit's getting real.
Yeah, it's real then. So, I'm like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm at work. She's like, I don't know, but I'm fucking really scared. And I'm like, all right, goodbye. So I call Eddie, and I'm like, you got to get over here right now. And he's like, why? And I'm like, because I have to run home, because apparently someone is in my house. And fucking Amy's like shitting a brick in bed. And he's like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no. He's like, all right, I'll be right there. So he comes over. So I have to drive up to Lewiston, And I get up there, and I'm like, hello? And I hear like, hello? And I'm like, are you all right? And she's like, yes. She's like, who's here? What's going on? And I'm like, I run up the stairs, and I'm like, I'm like, I don't see anyone. Like, where did you hear them talking? She's like, I don't know. I could just hear someone talking. She's like, I never left the room. I closed the door. I'm like, all right. So it's like an old farmhouse,
Yeah.
And there's an attic that there's full on stairs that you walk up into, and there's a giant basement, and it's super creepy.
Yeah, it sounds it, yeah.
Yeah. So I go down, I'm walking around, and I'm like, wait a minute, I do hear something. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Somehow, I don't know how, but the alarm clock that I had in the basement got turned on, and it was just like a talk radio show.
Oh, that would be mad creepy.
Yeah.
Because you just hear voices, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just echoing through this old house.
Yeah.
And she's just like, Christopher, help me. So I race up there and I'm like,
the ghosts are telling me the local traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
Christopher, they're going into the weather. You need to get over here.
It says there's going to be a flood in our house.
Christopher, the Bills are losing. Right? They're down in the division. You need to get over here. These guys sound serious.
If the Bills were losing, it was 7 years ago. So, but yeah. So I saved her, and by turning the alarm clock off.
That's so funny.